Thank you to our 2021 virtual fundraising banquet sponsors. At the advocate level, we have Laurel Medical Solutions, and at the friend level, we have Blackburn's Home Medical Equipment and Supplies and Global Links. Thank you so much. We are Reagan's journey. Our daughter Reagan needed equipment and supplies after suffering a brain injury at birth. Improvements in her function and mobility would depend upon proper treatment, therapy, and appropriate equipment. It's the same for thousands of other children affected by disability in Pennsylvania and surrounding states. Unfortunately, it's an average 6-month wait time to obtain each piece of equipment, and that's if you have insurance. Once you're done with it, there's no one that can take it back. Also, medical supplies for feeding and respiration are tough to obtain and costly to order out of pocket. That's where we come in. We operate a free closet full of medical supplies and pediatric equipment like walkers, standers, and wheelchairs that help children reach their full potential. We also learned that these families need to feel a sense of community. They need to interact and build relationships with other families facing similar challenges, someone who gets it. Because of that, we also operate an online support group and host annual family events that foster those relationships. To learn more about our equipment closet, online community, events, and resources, visit us at reagansjourney.org. Hello and welcome to our very first virtual fundraising banquet. My name is Kim Neal and I'm the program director at Reagan's Journey. I'm also Reagan's mom. She's the inspiration for our nonprofit. Reagan was born with a brain injury and that left her with a lot of complications. She had trouble eating and drinking, having mobility at all, speech, everything was affected. And so early on, we did a lot of therapy, a lot of different treatments to try to get her to reach her potential. We finally did some intensive therapy in the home for about 3 years with the help of volunteers and family. We continued that therapy and we had so much support. We were able to raise funds for her therapy because it was alternative. And with all of that support, she got better and better. And eventually, she didn't need to have that therapy anymore. She was able to walk, she was able to communicate in different ways. And so we had started a nonprofit because we needed funds and we knew other families needed funds. But as Reagan didn't need those funds anymore, we continued to turn our efforts towards other people who were in the same situation as us. And so that's what really led us to do the things that we're doing today. We focus on 4 different things. Number 1, we run a pediatric durable medical equipment and supply closet. Right now it's located in Oakmont, PA. Last year we sent out supplies and medical equipment totaling over $500,000. And it's been a huge resource, not just for families, but for social workers, for pediatric nurses, and therapists. So it's been a great tool for a lot of people to get what they need for each child to be able to reach their potential. So it's been huge. So that's the first thing we do. The second thing we do is family events. We know the importance ourselves of having that support, that person that just gets it. And so we try to host family events each year. Of course, this year has been a little bit different with the pandemic, so we've had to think outside the box, do some virtual things, do some actual physical boxes that we're handing to families so that they can enjoy that at home and then post it to social media. So that's been still a good way for people to communicate with each other virtually. So the third thing that we do is our online community. It's really taken off because of the pandemic, but what we realize is that, you know, if you live in a town, you're not necessarily going to be pushing your child in a wheelchair and run into another family that's also pushing their child in a wheelchair or even has any kind of disability. It's just, it's pretty isolating, and you know, it's just the people you're going to connect with are not necessarily in your town. So we're realizing that we need to keep creating this online community so that people can find each other and not have to seek them out in different ways in physical locations, but to be able to have that all the time to ask questions. And so we run a Facebook group called Navigating the Journey. It's resource sharing. It's good for parents to ask questions, or parents to just be kind of coping with what's happening with their child. And so it's a good way for other parents to come alongside them and offer help, offer resources, offer support, and for us to do the same. So that's been really important, and it's really grown. We have over 2,300 members in our closet group, and we have about 500 members in the Navigating the Journey group. And so it's also even been a great resource for me. So it's been great to see that grow. And then the fourth thing we do is to raise awareness. Things like this where we're educating the public, we're educating different maybe store owners or agencies that maybe they're not affected by disability. Maybe they've never pushed someone in a wheelchair. They've never loaded it into their car. They've never had to be a caregiver 24/7. They've never had lack of sleep, plus managing meds, plus managing therapy and doctor's appointments. And so it's not real to them. And the struggle is there, physically and emotionally. So we're on a mission to raise awareness, so that the places that our kids grow up in is better. Our kids live, work, and play in this community, and we want to make sure that they have every resource available to them, and people understand what they're going through, and they understand what the caregiver is going through. It's a huge task. So there's really, that's our fourfold mission. It's the closet, it's the online community, it's family events, and raising awareness. So we do all those things every day. It sort of comes together sometimes, and sometimes it's a bunch of separate things. But what we found is that we're creating a community where these families and therapists and anyone who takes care of someone who has special needs, they can have the tools and the resources and support that they need to help that child reach their potential and help the family cope through this difficult time. So, that's us in a nutshell. That's who we are and what we're passionate about. And so, we talk about the closet, we say what it is, but we thought it would be great to take you to the closet because, we can show you those things. But until you see it, until you see the equipment and see what it looks like, it really doesn't, always make sense. So let's go take a trip to the closet. So here we are at 140 Pennsylvania Avenue in Oakmont, and this is where our closet is held. When an appointment starts, this is where a family will pull up right along the side of the building. We have a couple signs out here so that they can see where to enter. If we're not outside or the door is not open, there is a doorbell so that they can let us know that they're here. When an appointment is made, sometimes they will drop off only. And so if that's the case and they ring the doorbell, we come out and greet them. We'll help them unload. We have a couple carts to bring everything in. If that's the end of their appointment, we ask them if they want a tax receipt, if it's something they purchased out of pocket. If they don't need that, then they are good to go on their way. If they have dropped things off, but they also want to pick up something, we go ahead and bring them inside. And so let's go check out what it looks like inside. So right here is sort of our holding area where when people drop off items, we put them all here safely inside so that we can go ahead and take pictures of them. Then we can put them into our inventory. So this is something that got dropped off. I'm going to go ahead and move it from this area and move it inside. So over here in this patient area is where we have all of our items. This is a pretty popular item right here, this chair that's being brought in, and it's going to be picked up really quickly. So this is an item that is really popular. It's called a Rift and Activity chair. What's great about it is that it's able to be adjusted with no tools at all. Everything can kind of change as your child grows and as their needs change. It has everything that's going to keep them safe. It has a material that's able to be wiped down so that if they're eating in it, if they're playing in it, if they're doing sensory play in it, it's going to work for everybody. So this also has a tray that goes on top. What's great about getting items like this into the closet is that a lot of families can't get these covered by insurance because they already have gotten a wheelchair cover that has a tray and it has wheels. So if that looks like it's something that they could eat in or they could do sensory play in, of course insurance is not going to cover both. They both do the same thing, but clearly this is not a wheelchair that's going to go outside. This has very small wheels that's best for indoors. It's best for moving your child around the house so that you're not having to pick him or her up all the time. Imagine if your child was 60 to 80 pounds and you were having to pick him or her up off the couch or off the floor and move them around the house all day. That's going to be a lot of strain for you and the child. So if you have something like this that they can go from the kitchen eating to the next room to go and do some laundry and then back with the siblings, it's going to make a huge difference. So this is going to go out as quickly as it comes in because it's really something that's really useful for a family to have in their home. So what's great about being in this space is that we can set it up more like a store. It's easier for people to come in and see what we have, and it's easier for us to organize it and be able to take pictures and be able to know what's here and be able to send it out. So we can take a look around here. Over here we have some sensory items, some visual materials, bath chairs up on top. Underneath we keep a lot of our standers. Sometimes they're mobile standers so that the child can still move around. Over here in the back is more of our walkers. So we have, there's a gait trainer and there's a walker. The difference between those two is that a gait trainer is going to have all of the parts that are going to help hold the child up if they can't bear their own weight. So it's going to have a seat, it's going to have a part that goes around their waist to keep them from tipping from side to side. It's going to have locks on the wheels, it's going to be able to spin or keep them straight. Over here we have a couple of our wheelchairs that are more like an early intervention or a child from birth to age 5. Right now we're really light. We usually have this completely full. That just happens in here. We always say it's sort of feast or famine. So right now we're a little bit light, but we know in the next couple weeks we're going to be getting some great things from another agency. So that will be wonderful. Over here we have a lot of our incontinence supplies. So there's booster pads for extra absorbency. There's pull-ups and diapers from sizes infant, size 4, all the way up to a small, medium adult. Oftentimes we will get large and extra large adult items, but we don't usually keep them here. We go ahead and send those on to places like Global Links or Brothers Brother because they have connections with people that need those more than we have a need for. We also have specialized nutrition. This is for tube feeding or maybe someone who's not getting enough calories. Maybe they have liver issues. Maybe they just need extra fats in their diet, so we have feeding tubes, feeding bags, we have specialized nutrition. Over here we have some respiratory items, so if you need a nebulizer, you need a suction machine, maybe your child is on a trach or a vent, we have all of those supplies here. Here we have some of our medical supplies that are much needed, like gloves and gauze, suction canisters, there's some tubing up there, Hoyer items. We get alcohol swabs, we get anything except for sharps and medicines we will keep. So if there's something that a child needs, if they have special needs, we usually have it. So, we rely on people to bring them in to donate them, and that keeps our shelves full all the time. We have no problem getting donations from agencies and families and nurses and therapists. So we really have a large assortment of items that are here. So once a family comes and decides what they want to pick up, it might be a walker like this. We do have them look around to see if they find something else that they might need. Maybe they didn't realize that we carry bed pads. Maybe they've never heard of booster pads. So we try to educate a family on what they might be able to use or what might be helpful for them. So they might look around, gather a few more things. We'll bag those items up for them and add it in. And when they're finished sort of shopping, we'll go ahead and lead them through the checkout process. So Tara is going to tell us a little bit more about what that looks like.
Hi, so I'm Tara Garris and I volunteer here at the closet with Kim. and I also sit on the board at Reagan's Journey as the secretary. Our paths crossed years ago when actually Reagan and my oldest son was born. They're pretty close in age, and they also have similar injuries from birth. And so we just have really become the best of friends, Kim and I, and we've just kind of journeyed on together. And so this was just such a wonderful fit when it worked out that I could come and be a part and volunteer here at the closet. So like Kim said, once a family has gotten the items that they need and maybe even shopped around a little bit, they'll come and check out with me. I'm here using this iPad that we actually got from the Pittsburgh Foundation, and it has really made our life easier because now we're not trying to use our phone or use a paper version to check people out. So the checkout process really does provide a lot of information for us. When they're checking out, they're essentially filling out a waiver. And with that waiver, it's not just a release of liability for us, but it's also a really good way for us to track information like their demographics, where they're coming from, how they found us, which is really neat to see, where all these people have heard about us from, which is a fantastic way of knowing if it's the hospital, therapists, other friends, or our Facebook groups. So it's just more information that we can keep track of. And also it keeps, of course, track of the items that they're taking with them that day. And so that's really great to know too. It helps us to know what our very popular items are, but also those items that are very much needed by these families. And so it's just honestly a really great way of tracking things from start to finish and just helping us to know what's coming in and what's going out. Sometimes those items that they're taking home with them have actually resulted because another family has brought it in because they've lost their child, unfortunately. And so we have found in this last year that that's happened more than has happened ever before, actually. And so we just really started to become burdened because it was just so tough for us to take those items in, but then send them home with nothing. They brought everything of that child that meant everything to them. Maybe that took years for them to even empty out their little guy or little girl's room because they just weren't ready. But now, because they were ready and they came and they gave their items, now somebody else might be leaving with those items that would change the life of their child now. But it really did. It started to become a burden for us because we did not want to send those families home empty-handed anymore. And so that's how our blanket project kind of got off the ground. We were blessed to have some extra funds, and with those extra funds and recognizing this need, we realized it was time. It was time to go ahead and purchase some blankets and do the things, put together a nice little package so that when these families come and drop off their loved ones' things, then we have something to send home with them. And actually Amy is going to share a little bit more about that and tell you how it's been special to her.
Hi, my name is Amy and I am honored to serve here on the board at Reagan's Journey. My story is a little unique in that I have valued support from people and organizations such as this for pretty much my whole life. I was born without arms and legs, and I was abandoned at the hospital by my birth family and then adopted by a loving and supportive Christian family. They taught me the value of independence and they continually support me in that endeavor. As you can imagine, sometimes that support is needed in the form of equipment or tools. Sometimes those were things that my family could not provide. Throughout my life, I have been blessed to have people come alongside my family and I and provide those things that I've needed at just the right time. Serving on the board here at Reagan's Journey has allowed me to be a very small part in giving back to those who donate in a very specific way. Unfortunately, sometimes those supplies and medical equipment come from family members of loved ones that they have lost. Of course, we value every donation that is received, but we are especially thankful for those who give in the middle of their grief. It's our desire to come alongside them and share our gratitude in a very warm and tangible way. And so the Blanket Project was born. It is our hope that each time they wrap themselves in one of our warm blankets with the Reagan's Journey logo attached, that it will be a reminder to them of the impact that their loved ones are still having in the lives of others. We pray that this reminder will somehow lessen their grief even a little. We want to thank you all for being here tonight. Your donations to Reagan's Journey help people in need like myself.
So now that you've seen what the closet looks like, what we have there, how it operates, we want to show you what families and therapists have to say themselves. So we've had some great videos coming through to us of people just saying, okay, here's why Reagan's Journey matters to me. So we're gonna have a couple different perspectives. Well, we just want to show you their heart and their life and maybe their struggle, and how they're having some wins right now because of what we're providing. So that's what you're helping us do every day.
We're the Andersons.
This is our Maeve. She's 3 years old and she has Angelman syndrome.
It's a rare neurogenetic condition that impacts her developmental progress. She has endstones instead of milestones, and she struggles to learn skills that come easy to most kids.
And so we first heard about Reagan's journey through her early intervention therapist, who suggested we might want to go visit the lending closet to borrow a stander.
I was actually the first one to go to pick up that stander. I knew it was a special place right away because there were special people there. It was the first time for me to be able to talk to somebody who knew what it was like to be on the journey that we were on. At that point, we didn't have a diagnosis for Maeve. We just knew she wasn't progressing like her other kids, and she needed some additional help. And we were trying to figure out what was next for her, and we were uncertain about the future. And we were welcomed by Kim and the folks there, so special right from the beginning.
And since then, we've borrowed multiple pieces of equipment from the closet. We've borrowed a bath chair,
Activity bike.
diapers. That wasn't a borrowing, that was, we kept those. And
One-time use only.
did you say gait trainer?
No.
And then most recently, her physical therapist from her preschool has also borrowed a gait trainer for her to have at school so that she can have one to work on therapy at school and one to work on therapy at home. And one of the things that we have realized over the past couple years is that usually for special needs families who require special things like durable medical equipment in their lives, there's only two options. One option is insurance.
Which takes a long time. Sometimes that approval takes longer than your kids in the size for that equipment. They grow out of it, or you don't get approval.
Right, you don't even get approved for it. And then the other option is buying out of pocket. And these things are thousands of dollars, which you wouldn't ever expect, but they're so expensive. And so we here in the Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania area have an amazing third option through Reagan's Journey, where we can make an appointment. We can go to the closet for free. We can bring home beautiful, well taken care of equipment and use it for as long as we need it, and then return it when we're finished, and other families can benefit from that equipment in their homes.
So thank you, Reagan's Journey. Thank you for making life better for kids like Maeve.
And for families like ours. Thank you so much. We love you, Reagan's Journey.
Hi, my name is Julie Gallagher, and I'm a physical therapist on the inpatient rehabilitation unit for UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. And I just wanted to say how much we have benefited from and absolutely love the work that Reagan's is doing in our community. For our kids here, when they leave rehab, a lot of times their custom equipment that we've ordered hasn't arrived yet. And the equipment that we have to offer through different vendors doesn't always meet their need or match what they have been using here at rehab. So we often have been able to find things from Reagan's that meet that need, so that all the progress they've made here isn't lost or isn't changed when they go home, because they have something that will continue to support them in their recovery, either in place of or as they wait for their custom equipment. We also have had kids who need something short term that Reagan's has always been able to find, or is willing to reach out to other people that they know in the community that might have something that would meet that need. And that has made a big difference to kids going home, that they are able to have kid-sized equipment that works for them, that helps them be independent and live full lives. And that's our big goal here, and we're really glad to have the support of Reagan's in that. We also love to give them our old things that we might have outgrown to help benefit other kids. And we couldn't thank them enough for all of the support that they've given and the difference they've made for our families in providing, a second piece of equipment that maybe isn't covered by insurance, or something to bridge the gap. We also really appreciate the support group that's available online through Reagan's Journey, and it's been something we recommend to a lot of our families because there's nothing like having emotional and mental support on top of great equipment and supplies to help parents and families through this journey. And so we're so thankful for everything that Reagan's is able to do and hope that they'll continue to grow and to meet so many needs of the children and families in our community. Thanks again.
Lorena Sills. I reside in Lawrence County, PA, and I wanted to let you know how Reagan's Journey Closet has helped not only myself and my family, but our county and actually other counties, such as Mercer County, Beaver County, and I believe some in Butler County. So for starters, I have been working in pediatric home health since 2006. And I have a lot of clients whose families kind of fall in between that radar, like maybe they make too much money for certain things, but not enough to really cover a lot of the supplies that are provided by Medicaid or Medicare. So we have a reach out system that we use through not only the home health system, but we are also foster parents that provide care for children with special medical needs. So we've also been in that position where there's certain times that maybe the insurance companies won't cover either enough of a product or we just can't get access to it. Reagan's Journey Closet has been so helpful in our area. Again, it provides a way for us to connect with one another, to share supplies, but even more than that, sometimes it's just a way that people can reach out for suggestions and comments too. I work with a lot of up here in these upper northwest counties, families that don't have a lot of resources available to them at all times. So they'll reach out to me, I'll reach out to Reagan's Closet, and we kind of have set up this whole network chain on this upper area, and it's all because of Reagan's Closet. It's really helped us provide different equipment and supplies for families that otherwise would not have been able to provide for their kids. It has been a huge help for a lot of families up in this area. So I just want to say thank you very much for all your help and support and giving us parents and healthcare workers a place and an avenue that we can go to help one another out. It has been huge for not only our family but also our whole area. So thank you very much.
What difference does Reagan's Journey make? More than you'll ever know. But I'll do my best to show you and to tell you how much Reagan's Journey has impacted my family and is making life better. My name is Bethany Jaworowski, and my husband Josh and I have 3.5-year-old identical twin sons, Jaden and Josiah. Josiah we also call JoJo. I first heard of Reagan's Journey in August 2019 from one of our early intervention therapists. Jaden and JoJo are both affected by MECP2 duplication syndrome. It's a rare neurodevelopmental disorder that causes low muscle tone, GI issues, among other things. Other parts of the disorder, they're really susceptible to respiratory infections, and actually the leading cause of death is pneumonia. Because of the low muscle tone, it makes clearing their lungs or having productive coughs difficult, if not impossible. Before JoJo was 20 months old, so before he was even 2, he had already had pneumonia twice. And for each week that Jaden is sick with a GI bug, or Josiah is sick with a respiratory bug, he and Jaden lose 2 to 4 weeks of progress. So if you have 1 week that loses 2 to 4 weeks, imagine what 4 months of being sick had done. In fact, Josiah had been sick 9 months out of 12 back before we met Reagan's Journey. We needed to get a chest vest. It's an oscillating chest vest that you wrap around, and it helps break up the mucus in the lungs and helps to make more productive cuffs. Sure enough, someone had just dropped off a chest vest. JoJo's last hospitalization was July 2019. Going from 5 to 6 hospitalizations a year to this was not even fathomable. It was such a dramatic difference. To see how much the chest vest really did make a difference. We've since been able to get both boys their own chest vest through insurance and return the one that we borrowed. The challenging thing though is insurance wouldn't pay for a chest vest until they saw it worked. But because we were able to borrow the vest, we could prove that it worked. And that made all the difference. Reagan's journey gave us a lifeline, and that has made our lives infinitely better. Because of Reagan's journey, my son JoJo has been healthier. He's grown and developed a lot over the past 16 months. So much that he's caught up to his twin brother in most areas, and even surpassed in some. Reagan's journey has also helped us with other supplies. Standers, gait trainers, feeding supplies, suction machine supplies, pulse oximeter probes, light box, and so much more. We cannot thank God enough for Reagan's journey. You truly make life better.
A little person who has special needs has taught me to be braver and stronger than I ever thought that I could be. I've learned coping skills I never knew I had. I have learned to fight like a prize fighter under stress, but most importantly, I have fallen in love with a little person who has made me a better person. We believe we're doing more than just offering parties and handing out equipment. We believe at Reagan's Journey that we're creating a community where people can feel safe to be themselves. If you've given to Reagan's Journey this year, you're making that happen for all of these families.
Thank you for making life better for us.